Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning once again. My name is Kagiso Ngwenya, and this is the ninth episode of the Travel Podcast. I think before anything, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in into the Travel Podcast. Of course, this is our ninth episode, which is quite a milestone for us, and we are still dedicated to producing relevant content that speaks to tourism development, that speaks to tourism research, but also that helps us shape our perspectives, in terms of understanding the industry of tourism quite better. As you know, in the past few weeks, we have been engaged in a series of content whereby we documented podcasts from, the township of Kagiso. And of course, the podcast episodes are all recorded in collaboration with the Kagiso Local Tourism Association. And today, of course, I'm not standing alone. I am standing with a very, I don't know how to describe, but I feel like words really limit your descriptions. But I'm seated with Kgosi Khumalo of the Backyard Art Gallery. Mr. Kgosi is quite acquainted with the tourism industry, and I think just before we even started shooting, we've learned, of course, a lot. And in this episode, we are just continuing in the series of documenting what township experience truly means in the township of Kagiso, of course. Mr. Kgosi, how are you, sir?
I'm very good, and you, Kagiso?
I'm very good. I think firstly, thank you so much for joining us. Like I've also, expressed my sincere appreciation to have, the opportunity to learn from people who have been serving the tourism industry for quite some time. And I think this is also an opportunity for us to reflect and to learn more. But I just want us to just jump quick into it. As the owner of the Backyard Art Gallery, last week when we were shooting content in the Kagiso guest house, we saw the beautiful, views of your Backyard Art Gallery, and we thought to ourselves, if anything speaks to tourism, it is the element of experiences. And the art gallery, I feel like it promotes those great experiences for visitors to come, and experience different things in different destinations. But what I want to ask from you before we even go any further is, what is art? How can you briefly explain art in a way that we will resonate with it, and how it resonates with experiences?
Yeah, well, art art is everything, from patterning to movement to visually. Art is everything. So how it does relate to tourism, especially in Africa, it's just been very, because mostly our people are into the arts and crafts, besides being in the technology space. So art has been part of us as mostly, and we are in that space of creative. We are ambassadors. You just move around, you'll find there's a number of programs that are happening. Young people are relating to the arts. They are more comfortable in that space.
Oh wow,
Whether it's
yes.
poetry, whether it's music, whether so art is it's everything.
Well, so if anything describes Africa is the element of art, right? Because I look at the beautiful art crafts that are here around, and if there's one thing if there's one thing that sort of brings about a highlight about art, is the use of color. You look at Africa, you look at our clothing, you look at a lot of things. It's always centered around that element of color, So I think I get you when you say art is our lifestyle. Art is us. Art describes Africa. But now, what does Backyard Art Gallery really do? What is some of your core function? I saw you guys also offer a coffee shop in the art gallery itself.
Okay, reason the name Backyard, it was more of working with artists who are not being recognized somewhere in those big galleries.
Mm.
I used to work I used to very work very close with Standard Bank at gallery, with Johannesburg Art Gallery, and a number of them, I've met a number of organizations, especially institutions like our Momo Gallery. But I realized that most artists in the background, in the backyard, they don't get opportunities to exhibit. So I invited a number of them to come here when I established, when my mom, who is in the Vele, Sarah Felane Mahlangu, and the Vele, which I was inspired actually to go into the space of visual arts. I said, Kgosi, this is the house that we're having, it's a forum house. Let's use it so that community and young people can benefit. And yourself, you can use it for your programs, and that's where it all started. But I wouldn't want to go into talk about coffee shop. I'll prefer to talk about arts, because coffee shop, those are just elements of additional. So abantu abavakashile, they can have that coffee, they can have internet and so on. But I was inspired by the space of the visual art, because I've worked with a number of institutions, as I've said. I've worked at Bosasa, working with young people in prison. I've been there. I've worked with MTN Art Institute. Hence, earlier you said your background, it's not fully your profile. My profile, I've been there as an artist, So the reason backyard that I've started this is to assist those artists who don't have an opportunity to exhibit in these big institutions.
Wow. I think what I love about this is how this finds relatability to what township tourism is, or maybe rather the state of township tourism is right now at the moment, because I kind of feel like we are in the backyard ourselves. We are the soon to rise, type of tourist experiences. We have quite a number of beautiful products such as yours that are there, but now what do you think about the element of or rather the state of where township tourism is in reference to Kagiso, of course? Do you think there needs to be more work done, and where do you see that gap being bridged?
One thing that I've realized, one of our biggest mistake, we thought township tourism is all about pubs, taverns, and we couldn't put our heads in bringing the arts in the space. It can't always left to right. It's our. It's not only about township tourism and development. So I think we've neglected arts for too long. I think we need to bring the arts in that space. And as I was speaking to a few friends who are actually developing shops where there will be clothing, there will be crafts. So I think there's a lot that we have to focus. Meaning that I'm not saying that we must not support those pub taverns and everything. They are part of township tourism. But all I'm saying is that we needed to expand our experience and expand our vision when we want to develop township tourism.
Wow. Because I think another thing that actually was quite interesting when we had our engagement with the Kagiso Local Tourism Association was that usually, I've had a chance to go live in KZN. So in KZN, I was engaging with a number of tour operators. Those were the people I was spending much time with to learn and understand the township offering space, because it's quite big, that side. So what they do is they have these packages that they group together, like they combine 3 local municipalities. There is what we call Ink Tourism. Ink Tourism represents Inanda, represents 3. Gwamasho, I think it's Inanda, Nduzuma, Gwamasho, those 3 townships. So they decided to come together and collect different, experiences, creating what we call route development in terms of where to go from point A to point B, what to experience. And the large proportion of that is controlled by tour operators, because they're the ones who bring people around that same neighborhood. So I am thinking, what would you think of such a structure whereby if the association itself, it can create a sort of a mind map or those packages that which the township altogether can sell out there, to say these are some of the experiences that you can take, these are some of the routes that you can take, and we make sure that in all those routes there's an element of like a shared economic growth as well.
Such initiative, such initiatives, they've been there long ago.
Yes.
It is unfortunately that I don't know. Sometimes you don't have to be sound negative. You know, those initiatives they've been there. Unfortunately, there's this tendency that the provincial government or whatever, South African Tourism Association, there's so much investment that has been done in Soweto rather than in the West Rand. You know, and these are good initiatives. I mean, I'm one of the founder members of the Kagiso Tourism Association, and when we put up proposals, they are not well supported. You know, you go out around Soweto, and in most places, because I've been friends with some of the guys who are owning those places, Abonambita, I knew them long ago, and they got good, Abu Prawandi in Orlando. They got good budget to renovate their spaces. But mention one place in Kagiso that has been well supported. We end up using our own money to develop these structures. So those forums, it's fine. They can be organized and done, but we've done that long time ago. It's just we need to be very close to each other and work together so that we get support from even government. You know, and yeah, I wouldn't go much on that, but yeah, the experience we have, we've been there. I mean, we're all working under Western Tourism Forum. You know, I remember under district, but where is Western Tourism Awards, which was used to be organized, which is I was one of the winners before. It's no longer there. So it's if you cannot get support from government, we tried. We've met with Sitlangana and Abobo and others. I can mention about Tabo Matsavu before going to Gauteng, to GTA. Is no longer there, as I'm told. So we did our part as legends of the space. So we are hoping that young people definitely will go into that space and represent us. We'll always support and give our background and support. And profiles to make sure that.
So, say, Mr. Khumalo, I think from what I'm hearing from you is township tourism products are quite ready. But if there's anything that is missing, is that support?
Most definitely. We need that support. The product is there, you know, and I wouldn't dwell much, but we have so many artists around our township. Some that actually left the industry, and some they went to private sector because there was no support.
Because I think if there's anything that I think came to my mind as I'm continuing obviously doing these research interviews, one thing that came to my mind was how there is the Joy of Jazz Festival, like for instance. I know when it comes to a lot of conferences, there's always like those pre-tours or post-tours whereby people who come for maybe your meetings Africa, they are then given to tour operators to take them through our Joburg to have that experience and all those things. But then it's fine. But when you see a event like your Joy of Jazz and you think about Kagiso, a lot of people have engaged. They said actually Kagiso is actually good with like a jazz community of some sort. There are a lot of young people who are into the jazz music itself, and there are a lot of establishments across Kagiso that plays jazz every Sundays and all those things. And one would think, what would it take for us to collaborate with those sessions to say those people who come there, can they come also maybe for their post-tours, come to Kagiso to experience jazz? What would it take for us to really get into those corners? What would it take?
It takes commitment from our stakeholders. Funny, you just raised this question. I'm turning 50 September, and I will be launching, because I've engaged a number of people, we'll be launching the first Kagiso annual festival. That will take place on the 19th till the 29th of September. it's very huge. It's very huge with jazz, with exhibitions, with book fairs. So I've invited a number of stakeholders. I've spoken to Abon Tlantla Mafikizolo, I've spoken to Abon Theo, and said this is an opportunity to launch Kagiso at the art space.
Yes.
So it's always said that we always tap in other programs that are happening somewhere.
And
you're correctly right that Kagiso's got so much talent, and we've always been invited to attend certain events because they know that we'll get young people who are very good in jazz. We'll get Lamatama jazz.
Yes.
So, but we'll be launching our own in September, a very huge one. It's going to be big. I'm being honest. I'm the founder member of the Kagiso Arts Festival, which has a 10-member committee and board members. There's so much interest even in the municipalities, in government, in province, to be part. The National Council, they want to come on board. So something big is coming. So as you were asking, something is coming.
Wow. I think then this raises a point that each and every single one of us, including each and everyone who's listening to me right now, we all play a role, in terms of developing Kgosi. I mean, the provision of such events provides the opportunity for us to have, a variety of experiences that can be consumed in any neighborhood, in any township, in any experiences. And like Mr. Khumalo has said, products have always been ready, but the only missing element that has been a common denominator was the effort that is needed outside of the businesses themselves. Because tourism thrives in collaboration. Tourism thrives when people are uniting together. You can provide a space, yes. The guys at Kagiso Guest House can provide a guest house, but at the end of the day, there needs to be someone who takes people from one place to another. I think in just the highlight of this interview, that is what I've been, willing to hear from the community members, from people who are professionals from around the township of Kagiso itself. Just last week, we identified a place that has a potential to be Maboneng, just around Kagiso. I think at the robot downstairs, there's a 4-way crossing where when I stand in that 4-way crossing, I can see an image of Kagiso precinct, a writing, something like that. So we need to have more of such, initiatives and platforms. But I'm happy to announce that the Kagiso Local Tourism Association is actually working hard to try and create, programs that are going to help and assist, in marketing some of the experiences that are around here. Thank you so much for showing such, a light engagement. I know it was such a short meeting, and also to just appreciate you for availing yourself without much preparation and all of those things. But what would you like to share to someone who's watching you right now? In what would be the one highlight experience that one person can expect coming to Kagiso? Let's say I'm coming from KZN, I don't know anything, and then someone says don't go to Soweto, but also spend an extra night coming to Kagiso, spend extra days coming to Kagiso. What is that one element that sells Kagiso best?
Kagiso.
Peace.
People are very friendly. There's a lot that is happening, which is hiring. We have a number of good places to chill. We have art gallery. We have places where you can go and eat. So expect friendliness and lifestyle in Kagiso. There's so much peace.
And I heard Chamdo gives free players.
Unfortunately, they don't. Yeah, but friendly people, I think that's what sells Kagiso. People here are friendly. The place, Kagiso is very clean and neat, very safe. And there's a lot of lifestyle happening.
I'm not sure how this township is clean, because I'm not even seeing any bins that are dedicated out there in the street. It's sort of like, they've made it a priority to keep the township clean, So that is one of the things that we need to push. But on my side, I'd like to make a pledge that we are going to utilize, the best of the information that we get to also challenge policies. Last year, there was a green tourism paper that came out, and the minister was pushing people to fill in to say, what are some of the recommendations? What are some of the things that needs to change? And quite lately, as a young person, I decided it's not usual for young people to contribute towards these things. I draw a huge, research document, and I submitted with all the gaps that I've been seeing in the industry, and they accepted it. Got an email back, but just from that effort, it means there is a way, for us to reach out to the department, to share some of our experiences and also to share some of our outcries. The minister suggested the Satovito conference actually made us aware of some of the funding initiatives that are around, I think she mentioned like 4 funding initiatives that I'll just write them down in this episode. So as I'm speaking, you'll be able to see all of those funding initiatives. But now, all we need to do is to make sure that we approach them. When we are encountering challenges, we need to make sure we have proper strategies. We need to capacitate the association, the KLTA association, to say, you guys, this is what we are struggling with. Push this so that we make sure we are all aware in terms of where we are and the kind of effort you need to put forward. Thank you so much for giving us such a worthy episode. And I'd like to advocate for the backyard at Galawi. I'm not sure, are you guys open? Or how do people make reservations to come to the Art Gallery?
We're always around.
Always around.
We always have events. There are contacts on the outside advertising board. Anyone who wants to book the venue, it's not only about us,
Yes.
Gallery. It's a center of Kagiso. If young people want to utilize the venue, we are available to assist them and avail the space.
Wow, thank you so much. I think if you can just look at the camera and share your social media handles, where do people find the backyard art gallery? How can we find it?
Well, I'm not good on those social handles. I can only say Kagiso Art Gallery. Backyard is 2340 Kagiso Avenue, the main street of Kagiso. Yeah, that's what I can say. The email is backyard@gallery@gmail.com. That's where you'll find us. Here, you send us an email, and then that's what I can say.
Thank you so much, Mr. Khumalo, for joining us today. That's it from my side. My name is Kagiso Ngwenya, and this is the Travel Podcast. Thank you.